to this guided meditation for lucid dream induction, a sleep story designed to help you gently unlock the boundless realms of your inner consciousness. Let us begin by simply inviting your eyes to drift closed, feeling the gentle weight of your eyelids as you settle into this moment. And as you do, I want to extend my warmest welcome to this peaceful sanctuary. I am so deeply glad you have chosen to join me in this quiet space I hold for you. For those returning, welcome back. For those here for the first time, know that this path is always here for you. Now feel your awareness settling at the very top of your head, noticing the stillness there as a soft, gentle wave of relaxation begins to form right at your crown. This wave is warm, and it is kind. It begins its slow, tender journey downward, feeling this wave of calm washing over the very top of your scalp, releasing any tiny points of tension, any subtle pressures that might have gathered there. Just letting them go. With each passing moment, a soft sigh of release spreads across your skin. The air itself feels soft against your crown, a whisper of comfort, a gentle touch that reaffirms your safety. In this quiet, protected space, you pause, focusing. The sensation of the scalp, it feels like a subtle easing, a delicate loosening of all the tiny muscles just beneath the surface. You might notice a faint tingling, a soft warmth, or simply a deep sense of neutrality. A beautiful emptiness, a quiet surrender. It is a feeling of being completely held, completely supported. There is nothing for you to do here, nothing at all, but simply to be and to feel. This is your time, your precious, quiet time. Now, this tender wave of ease, it drifts down towards your forehead, spreading across that broad, smooth expanse. Imagine it like a warm, flowing balm, gently smoothing out any worry lines, any subtle furrows. It melts away any tension that might have accumulated between your eyebrows or along your temples. All those unspoken thoughts, all those tiny, focused expressions, just softening now, dissolving into pure, unburdened tranquility. Your forehead feels wide and open, free. You linger here just for a moment, noticing the subtle changes, the feeling of release. The skin itself feels softer, a silkiness unfolding like a delicate petal, opening slowly. There is no urgency, no rush, only the profound pleasure of this gentle unfurling. The air against your forehead, it feels lighter, almost imperceptible, like the brush of a moth's wing, a testament to the stillness that now resides within you. This is a quiet peace that truly belongs to you. The wave continues its downward journey, cascading over your eyelids so softly, so tenderly, like two velvet curtains, drawing gently closed. They feel heavier now, not in a burdensome way, but with a comforting weight, a a profound sense of rest. The muscles around your eyes, they release their grip, unclenching, unwinding, allowing your gaze to soften, to turn inward, to simply be still. There is no need to see, no need to watch, only to feel the complete relaxation of your delicate eye muscles. You invite your awareness to settle behind your eyes into that soft, dark space, a quiet cavern of inner calm. You might perceive a gentle pressure or a subtle warmth, as if tiny, hidden lights are now dimming into a soothing, deep twilight. This inner world behind your eyes is a sacred space, a place of gentle dreaming, already beginning to prepare for its nightly voyage. Feel this quiet stillness, a profound, deep rest permeating every fiber of this gentle area. And this wave, this flowing tide of calm, it now moves over your cheekbones, down towards your jaw, melting any tightness, any holding you might have been clenching, perhaps even without knowing. All those unspoken words, all those held expressions, just letting them go, allowing your jaw to soften, to feel loose and entirely relaxed. Your teeth may part slightly, just a millimeter or two, as if your whole being is exhaling a long, silent sigh of profound release. You notice the feeling of your jaw becoming heavier, yet also lighter, a beautiful paradox of deep relaxation. The muscles along the hinge of your jaw, they feel as though they are gently unwinding, like delicate coils, slowly letting go. The skin on your cheeks feels warm and supple, a natural blush of peace spreading. The very air you breathe seems to brush across your lips, a silent confirmation of this profound stillness, this deep, quiet comfort. You are truly safe here. Now, this gentle current of peaceful relaxation, it flows down into your throat and your neck, releasing all the tiny muscles that hold your head upright, all the tension that accumulates there from daily life, from screens, from thoughts. Just letting it all go, allowing your neck to feel long and soft and entirely supported. Imagine each vertebra in your neck softening one by one, like a string of pearls, gently loosening, finding their natural, comfortable alignment. You focus on the sensations in your neck and throat, the feeling of ease spreading, a sense of openness where there might have been constriction, a gentle warmth permeating. The skin feels stretched, yet not taut, a pleasant, yielding softness. The sound of your own quiet breath now feels as though it is echoing so gently within this newly released space, a soft resonance, a hum of tranquility that truly belongs to you. This is pure, unadulterated comfort, and this tender wave continues its descent into your shoulders, your broad, strong shoulders that carry so much, So much responsibility, so much of your daily world. Now, imagine all of that weight just lifting away, like a great, heavy cloak being gently removed. Your shoulders drop, softening, melting down, away from your ears, away from any tension. They feel wide and open and deeply at ease, supported entirely by the surface beneath you. You linger here on the feeling of your shoulders, the complete release, the sense of unburdening. You might even feel them spreading out just a little, as if finding their true, natural width. The muscles feel soft and pliable, like warm clay, perfectly at rest. The air around your shoulders now feels almost like a gentle, protective blanket, holding you, supporting you, allowing you to sink even deeper into this profound state of relaxation. You are so very safe. The wave of peace flows down into your upper arms and then into your elbows, softening all the joints, relaxing all the muscles, letting them grow heavy and loose, then into your forearms, feeling that gentle release, spreading and deepening, a beautiful cascade of calm, all the way down into your wrists, allowing them to feel flexible and soft, releasing any held tension from everyday gestures, from subtle movements. You bring your awareness to your hands, your precious, capable hands. The palms feel open and soft, the fingers loose and uncurled, each finger, one by one, releasing any residual tension. The thumbs, the index fingers, the middle fingers, the ring fingers, the pinky fingers, feeling that gentle warmth, spreading all the way down to the very tips of your fingers and the very tips of your thumbs. A subtle tingling, perhaps a faint hum of pure, deep relaxation. You focus on your hands, the weight of them resting gently against whatever surface they touch. They feel substantial, yet utterly relaxed. The texture of the air around your hands seems to take on a new softness, a delicate, almost velvety quality. The tiny hairs on your skin respond to the subtle currents of this peaceful atmosphere. There is no effort here, no striving, only pure, effortless ease, a deep sense of peace that has now settled throughout your arms and hands. Now, this beautiful wave of pure relaxation, it flows into your chest and your upper back, filling this entire region with a gentle, expansive calm. Your chest feels open and soft, the muscles around your ribs releasing, unfurling, allowing for an even deeper, more gentle breath. Noticing your natural, effortless breathing, the gentle rise, the soft fall of your chest and your abdomen, a rhythm of peace that requires no effort from you, none at all. You simply observe your breathing now, not trying to change it, not trying to control it, just allowing it to be exactly as it is, a natural, effortless flow. In and out, in and out. Each inhale, a gentle expansion. Each exhale, a soft, profound release, the air moving in and then out, so smoothly, so peacefully, like gentle waves on a quiet shore. This is your body's own wisdom, guiding you into deeper and deeper states of rest and tranquility. You feel the sensation of your breath as it enters your nostrils, a subtle coolness, perhaps, or a gentle warmth. Then, as it fills your lungs, a soft internal expansion, a quiet stretching, and then, as it leaves your body, a soft exhalation, a gentle release. You might feel the air brush against your upper lip or the subtle warmth against your skin, a continuous, unbroken rhythm of pure, natural life flowing through you without any conscious effort at all. And this wave of tranquility, it moves down into your abdomen, releasing any tightness, any holding around your belly, letting it feel soft and supple and entirely relaxed. As your breath continues its gentle rhythm, you feel your belly rise and fall with each soft inhale and each gentle exhale, a truly calming, natural movement, releasing any anxieties, any stored emotions, just letting them go, allowing your core to feel completely at ease, completely peaceful. You notice the quiet, the stillness around your abdomen as your breath moves in and out, the gentle, almost imperceptible shifts in temperature as the air passes, the subtle stretching of the skin as your belly expands and contracts, a profound sense of groundedness, yet also a beautiful lightness, a feeling of pure, unburdened freedom. This is your center, your core, now deeply at rest, profoundly relaxed. Now this beautiful wave of pure, peaceful relaxation, it spreads into your lower back, releasing any tension, any discomfort that might have settled there, allowing your back to feel long and strong and completely supported by the surface beneath you. Imagine all the tiny muscles along your spine gently softening, unwinding, melting into a profound sense of ease, a deep, quiet surrender to the comfort that surrounds you. You focus on your lower back, the gentle curve, the feeling of weight as it settles into the support beneath you, a beautiful warmth spreading outwards from your spine like gentle rays of sunshine through a soft morning mist. The air around your back seems to cradle you, a soft, unseen embrace, a constant reminder of your safety, your profound comfort. You are truly protected here, held, and deeply at peace. And this tranquil wave continues its slow, tender journey into your hips and your pelvis, releasing all the large muscles that gather there, all the subtle movements, all the weight bearing, just letting it all go, allowing your hips to feel wide and open and deeply at ease, sink into the surface beneath you, feeling that gentle surrender, that profound letting go of all physical and emotional burdens. This is a complete release, a beautiful, quiet freedom. You linger here on the feeling of your hips, your pelvis, the sense of spaciousness that has opened up, the deep, grounding contact with the surface beneath you. It feels like your entire lower body is now sinking deeper into a soft, welcoming cushion, a feeling of profound stability, yet also a beautiful, almost weightless ease. The fabric of your clothing against your skin feels softer now, more gentle, a delicate caress of pure, deep comfort. The wave of peace flows down into your upper legs, your strong, capable thighs, releasing any tension, any holding, letting them grow heavy and loose, all the muscles softening, unwinding from your hips, all the way down to your knees. Imagine them as two beautiful, ancient tree trunks, now completely at rest, grounded yet flexible, ready for profound, deep rest. This is your time to simply let go. You feel the sensation of your thighs becoming heavier, yet also softer, a beautiful contradiction of deep relaxation. The air around your legs seems to move with a gentle, calming current, a subtle invitation to sink even further into this exquisite state of peace. You might notice a faint warmth spreading through your muscles, a deep, pervasive sense of ease, a quiet affirmation that everything is perfectly well, exactly as it should be. And this gentle wave continues its journey into your knees, softening the joints, releasing any stiffness, then flowing down into your lower legs, your calves, your shins, all the muscles softening, unwinding, letting go, feeling that beautiful cascade of relaxation all the way down to your ankles, allowing them to feel flexible and soft, releasing any residual tension from standing, from moving, from simply being. You bring your awareness to your feet, your precious grounding feet. The soles feel open and soft, the arches relaxed, the toes loose and uncurled, each toe, one by one, releasing any tension. The big toes, the second toes, the middle toes, the fourth toes, the pinky toes, feeling that gentle warmth spreading all the way down to the very tips of your toes, a subtle tingling, a faint hum of pure, deep relaxation from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. You pause now to simply appreciate this profound state of full body relaxation. Each and every cell in your body feels deeply at ease, perfectly at rest. You are floating on a cloud of pure peace, held in this gentle sanctuary I have created just for you. Every breath you take carries you deeper and deeper into this ocean of calm, This is your safe space, your quiet harbor, for ultimate rest and lucid dreaming. And as you rest here, so peacefully, so calmly, I want to invite you to consider a new way of being, a new way of dreaming. Imagine now that the very air around you, the very space you occupy, is beginning to shimmer, to shift, with an almost imperceptible light, a subtle radiance that seems to emanate from within your very being. This light is your consciousness, expanding, preparing for its journey into the lucid dreamscape. You feel a gentle current beginning to lift you ever so slightly, not a sudden jolt, but a soft, ethereal rise. You are beginning to float, to drift. This is the first whisper of the world where gravity is not a fixed rule, but a playful companion, a living force that responds directly to your subtle intentions and your gentle emotional state, a sense of groundedness, a feeling of certainty makes you feel heavier, more connected to the dream earth or the dream water beneath you. But right now, you are cultivating a feeling of lightness, of liberation, of pure, unburdened joy. And as you embrace these feelings, you effortlessly drift and you float higher and higher, so gently, so gracefully, as if you are dancing with an unseen current, a cosmic water or a stellar air that carries you with such tender care. You are beginning to master your perceived weight just by choosing to feel free. You observe the space around you. As you float, it is no longer your quiet room, but a boundless expanse of deep, shimmering indigo, like the darkest part of twilight, just before dawn or just after dusk. Pinpricks of light begin to appear, distant stars, or perhaps they are not so distant. They are closer and closer, and they are not just points of light. They are swirling nebulae, tiny galaxies, unfurling before your inner eye. You might feel a subtle shift in the temperature of the air, becoming cooler, yet also more invigorating, a gentle chill that awakens a sense of wonder rather than discomfort. It is the cool embrace of the cosmic ether welcoming you to its vast, silent expanse. The air feels thinner and yet richer, filled with an almost tangible energy, a quiet hum that resonates deep within your chest, a frequency of pure possibility. You pause, focusing. The way the light is beginning to play on the edges of your vision, it is not a harsh light, but a soft, bioluminescent glow, as if the stars themselves are breathing with a gentle, rhythmic pulse. The deeper blues and purples of the cosmic expanse are beginning to deepen further into almost black, interspersed with flashes of emerald green and shimmering gold, a quiet kaleidoscope of color unfolding for your senses. As you drift, you become aware of the very subtle texture of this cosmic air. It feels like liquid velvet, against your skin, a profound softness, yet with a gentle, supportive density. It is not empty space, but a living, breathing medium that responds to your every subtle thought, to your every quiet intention. You feel completely safe here, completely held, and completely free to move and to explore. Now, within this vastness, you begin to perceive a faint, glowing presence. It appears just ahead of you, a shimmering, ancient instrument forged from intertwined strands of pure silver and bioluminescent mycelium. It glows with an internal light, soft and inviting. This is the Stardrift Compass, your guide through the dreamscapes. It does not point to a physical north, but rather to locations of concentrated dream energy or thought wells within this very realm. You feel a gentle curiosity stirring within you, not an anxious curiosity, but a soft, inviting wonder. Your gaze drifts towards the compass. Its glowing needle is slightly erratic, wavering, and unfocused, a reflection of your still waking mind, a gentle reminder that you are on the threshold of deeper lucidity, of greater control. But it is perfectly fine. It is exactly where it needs to be. For now, you watch the needle with soft, easy eyes. It twitches, it shimmers, it spins gently, in no particular direction. It is like a tiny, luminous dancer, still finding its rhythm, still awaiting its cue. But even in its erratic movements, there is a profound beauty, a testament to the untamed, boundless nature of the dream world itself. The silver strands of the compass seem to pulse with a faint internal light, responding to the subtle energy all around you. You focus on the sensation of your body as you drift closer to the Stardrift Compass. You feel the gentle pull, the almost imperceptible current that guides you towards this ancient artifact. The air around you grows subtly warmer, a soft, inviting warmth that cradles you like a mother's embrace. The silence of the cosmos is occasionally punctuated by the softest whisper, a cosmic echo that brushes against your inner ear, a promise of wonders to come. You reach out a hand, slowly, deliberately, noticing the intention forming in your mind, a desire to connect, to touch, to understand. You feel the muscles in your arm gently stretching, extending the subtle weight of your arm, moving through the cosmic air. Your fingers unfurl softly, gracefully, like delicate sea anemones, reaching towards this glowing marvel, the starlight reflecting off your skin, a gentle, ethereal sheen. As your fingertips brush against the Stardrift Compass, you feel a surprising texture, not hard and cold, as silver might suggest, but soft and organic, like cool, damp moss and fine, spun silk intertwined. The bioluminescent mycelium feels alive, pulsing gently beneath your touch, a subtle vibration that travels from your fingertips, up your arm, and into your very core, a profound connection to the ancient wisdom of this dream realm. And as your hand rests gently on the stardrift compass, you feel a surge, a gentle awakening within your own being. The glowing needle now begins to steady, to shine more brilliantly, a direct response to your newfound sense of quiet lucidity, of emerging dream control. It pulses with a vibrant emerald light, then shifts to a deep sapphire hue, and then a brilliant, soft gold. It points now, steadily, decisively, towards a particular direction. You look in that direction. The stardrift compass is pointing, and you see it emerging from the deep indigo, a colossal structure, a magnificent edifice. It is a hydrodome bathed in the soft internal light of countless luminous crystalline scrolls. This is the etheric crystal libraries, located deep within the subtle pressure of cosmic waters. Thoughts here condense into radiant narratives, into crystalline wisdom. You feel a profound sense of awe and a quiet anticipation stirring within you, not a nervousness, but a deep, resonant wonder. This place, it feels ancient and yet utterly new, a repository of forgotten knowledge and emerging truths. The very air around you seems to hum with the quiet energy of untold stories waiting to be discovered, waiting to unfold before your inner eye. You begin to drift towards the hydrodome. Your movement is effortless, graceful, as if the cosmic water itself is gently propelling you forward. Your desire to move is enough. Your intention is your current. Your will is your tide. You are beginning to truly understand the nature of gravity here, not as a constant, but as a flexible, living force that responds directly to your subtle intentions and your gentle emotional state. You feel a profound sense of lightness, a beautiful liberation, as you glide through the cosmic waters towards the etheric crystal libraries. The surface of the hydrodome now comes into closer view. It is not glass, but a shimmering, iridescent membrane, like the skin of a colossal living bubble, reflecting the myriad pinprick stars and swirling nebulae all around you. Each tiny ripple on its surface reflects a miniature galaxy, a fleeting universe. You observe the delicate shimmer of the hydrodome's surface. As you approach, it seems to breathe, to pulse gently with the same soft internal light that emanates from within. The colors shift and dance from deep sea green to amethyst purple to brilliant starlit silver, a visual symphony of soft, ethereal hues, a quiet welcoming into its depths. This protective layer feels ancient, yet perfectly responsive to your very presence. The soundscape, as you draw nearer, is one of subaquatic cosmic whispers, not heard with your ears, as you would in the waking world, but felt as delicate, vibrating patterns on your skin, like 1,000 tiny, gentle fingers, tapping, humming, dancing across your very being. Each ripple of thought, each cosmic echo, creates a momentary, vibrant vision directly within your mind's eye, shifting holographic imagery of pure, resonant energy. You feel these whispers on your skin, a tingling sensation, a subtle vibration that resonates deep within your bones and within your soul. It is a language of pure feeling, a communication beyond words, beyond sound. These patterns form into images, fleeting glimpses of swirling constellations, of ancient, luminous script, of spectral beings dancing in forgotten light. These are the thoughts of cosmic entities whispering their timeless truths to you. You pause, focusing on one particular pattern that forms on the skin of your arm. It feels like a delicate, intricate lace, woven from pure light and gentle pressure. And as you focus, a vivid image forms in your mind's eye, a cascading waterfall of liquid starlight flowing from an unseen source. And within that waterfall, you see faces, ancient, wise, yet fleeting, like echoes. In a vast, silent canyon, the sensation is deeply calming and profoundly intriguing. The entrance to the hydrodome appears before you, not as a solid door, but as a shimmering, parting veil of cosmic water. It gently ripples open, inviting you inside. As you pass through this veil, you feel a subtle shift in pressure, a gentle embrace, as if you are entering a sacred living space. The air inside is warm and soft, infused with a faint, sweet scent, like old paper and distant ozone. And something else, something indescribably ancient and deeply profound. You are now within the etheric crystal libraries, and the sight before you is truly breathtaking. Walls towering, immense, stretching into an unseen distance, are not solid rock, but shelves of colossal singing crystals, each crystal a different hue, a different frequency, a different silent song. They rise from the depths of the cosmic water and pierce the soft, glowing ceiling above you. Like vast, luminous stalagmites of pure thought, these crystals are not just decorative, they are alive. They project holographic narratives into the central space before you, images of swirling galaxies, of ancient cities, of delicate alien flora and fauna, all made of light and shimmering energy. They float in the ambient cosmic water, gently undulating like silent, ethereal dancers. Each narrative, a story, a memory, a possibility. made manifest, you drift deeper into the heart of the library. Your movements are still effortless, graceful, a gentle push of your intention, and you glide, a soft thought, and you rise, a subtle leaning, and you dip. You are truly dancing with gravity here. It is your playful companion, allowing for effortless soaring and graceful dives between these colossal stacks of knowledge. You are mastering your perceived weight simply by feeling light and free. You observe the crystals more closely now. Each one is unique. Some shimmer with a deep amethyst glow, casting soft violet shadows. Others pulse with a vibrant emerald light, illuminating the space with a verdant hue. Still others gleam with a pure diamond white radiance, a quiet, steady beacon. Each crystal seems to hold its own distinct vibration, its own silent story, hummed into being by the pressure of cosmic waters, condensing thought into form. You reach out a hand again towards one of the shimmering holographic narratives floating nearby. It depicts a vast crystalline forest where trees are made of light and their leaves are tiny glittering stars. As your hand approaches, the image ripples like water but does not break. You feel no tangible surface, only the subtle warmth of pure light and the faint humming vibration of concentrated dream energy passing through your fingers. You are fascinated by the way these images shift and change with the slightest movement of your inner gaze. They are responsive, alive to your presence, to your attention. This is a dream world that is truly interactive, truly alive, a reflection of your own boundless consciousness. Here, you are not just an observer, you are an integral part of the unfolding narrative, a silent co-creator of this wondrous realm. You notice a peculiar sensation in the corner of your eye, a shimmering, a brief flicker, and then there they are, bioluminescent distraction motes. They fill a small portion of your vision and your awareness. Tiny, intricate patterns of light and movement, dancing, twirling, spinning. They are captivating, beautiful, yet you feel a subtle knowing that they are ultimately meaningless, a soft veil, a gentle test of your focus. You feel no irritation, no struggle, just a quiet awareness of their presence, like tiny, curious fireflies drawn to your inner light. They sparkle with emerald green and sapphire blue and ruby red, a delightful, ephemeral show. But you remember your purpose, your intention to delve deeper, to discover the true narratives within these crystal libraries. And so, you gently, effortlessly guide your focus beyond these enchanting, fleeting distractions. You allow the distraction motes to simply be, to dance their joyful, aimless dance. But your inner gaze, your soft intention, it moves past them, not with force, not with effort, but with a gentle redirection. You surrender to the clear desire for purpose, for meaning. And as you do, the veil thins, the motes recede, not disappearing entirely, but becoming less prominent, gracefully revealing your underlying intention, your true direction. Your intention now is to find a specific glowing scroll, to unfurl its radiant, silent narrative directly before you, to see its story unfold like a constellation. This is your personal quest. Within this magnificent library, you look up towards the towering shelves of singing crystals. They reach so high, beyond your immediate sight, into the glowing ceiling, a labyrinth of luminous knowledge. You feel a soft resolve strengthening within you, not a forceful determination, but a calm, quiet knowing that you possess the power to make this happen. Here, in this dream realm, your thoughts are manifest, your intentions are reality. And so, you begin to search with your inner eye, with your quiet will, for that perfect, glowing scroll among the countless crystalline narratives. You drift gracefully upwards, a gentle push of intention, and your perceived weight becomes lighter still. You rise through the cosmic water between the colossal crystal stacks. The currents are soft, supporting, carrying you higher and higher. The holographic narratives drift past you like schools of luminous fish, their stories whispering, their truths imprinted on the very air. As you ascend, you notice the quality of light changing, becoming softer, more diffused, as if you are moving into higher realms of thought. The deeper blues of the lower library give way to gentle lavenders and soft pearlescent whites. The air remains warm and infused with that sweet ancient scent, a perfume of pure knowledge, a fragrance of cosmic wisdom. You pause now to simply float at a higher elevation, looking down upon the vast expanse of the etheric crystal libraries. It stretches out below you like a city of pure light built from condensed dreams and forgotten truths. The singing crystals emit a silent symphony, a harmonious resonance that you feel deep within your chest, a vibration of profound peace and endless possibility. You look around you at this new vantage point, and you see yourself reflected in a shimmering holographic image projected from a nearby crystal. This is a reality check. You observe your form. Does it appear stable, solid, just as you are now? Or does it phase through multiple ages, through different identities, through alien archetypes, a fleeting glimpse of countless possibilities of who you might be in other dream states or other lives? You watch your reflection with a gentle curiosity. It shimmers, it shifts for a moment. You see yourself as a child with bright, curious eyes. Then as an ancient sage with a long, flowing beard, then as a being of pure light with no distinct form at all, and then back to your current self, a beautiful, fluid dance of identity, a gentle reminder of the boundless nature of your own being. In this dream realm, your identity is fluid, ever-changing, always evolving. You smile softly, a quiet knowing spreading within you. This is the truth of the dream world. Reality is not fixed. It is malleable, responsive to your consciousness, to your perception. And this awareness, this newfound understanding, deepens your sense of lucid control. The stardrift compass at your side glows even brighter now, its needle perfectly steady, pointing towards a specific brilliant crystal high above you. You know now that the glowing scroll you seek resides within that crystal. Your inner guidance, your intuition is strong and clear. You feel a gentle certainty, a profound knowing. And with that certainty, you begin to rise again, effortlessly, gracefully, towards that radiant crystal. The cosmic waters part before you, welcoming your ascent, carrying you with such tender care towards your chosen destination. As you approach the brilliant crystal, you notice its unique energy. It pulses with a soft, steady rhythm, a deep, resonant hum that feels profoundly comforting. Its color is a luminous, pearlescent white with streaks of swirling, opalescent light within its depths. It feels ancient, yet alive, a repository of deeply personal wisdom, waiting for your gentle touch, for your quiet intention. You arrive before it, hovering gently, suspended in the cosmic water. Your body feels weightless, effortless, perfectly balanced before this colossal source of radiant knowledge. The surface of the crystal is smooth and cool, yet somehow it radiates a gentle warmth, a welcoming heat that seems to infuse your very being with a profound sense of peace and quiet anticipation. You extend your intention now with clarity and with love. You will a specific glowing scroll to float gently down from a high shelf within this crystal, and to unfurl its radiant, silent narrative directly before you. Its story, you know, will unfold like a constellation, a map to deeper understanding, to inner wisdom. And as you focus your intention, you feel a subtle shift in the crystal's energy, a soft tremor, a gentle vibration deep within its core. And then, from a high, unseen recess within the pearlescent light, a scroll begins its slow descent. It is not falling, but floating, gracefully, effortlessly, carried by an unseen current of pure, directed will. Your intention made manifest. The scroll glows with a soft, golden light, a warm, inviting radiance that illuminates the cosmic water around it. It is wrapped in delicate silvery ribbons that shimmer and dance as it floats down towards you. You watch its descent with a quiet wonder, a deep sense of gratitude for the power of this dream realm, for the responsiveness of this sacred space to your pure intention. It finally arrives, gently before you, suspended in the cosmic water. At eye level, its golden light illuminating your face with a soft, ethereal glow. You reach out a hand, slowly, deliberately, and your fingers gently grasp the scroll. It feels warm to the touch, soft and yielding like ancient parchment, infused with living light. A profound sense of connection fills your being, a deep knowing that this scroll holds something important just for you. You release the silvery ribbons with a gentle touch, and the scroll begins to unfurl on its own, so slowly, so gracefully, like a delicate cosmic flower, opening its petals to the dawn. Its radiant, silent narrative begins to unfold directly before you, not in words, not in images, but in pure, luminous energy, in shifting constellations of light, in swirling patterns of meaning that resonate deep within your very soul. You gaze at the unfolding narrative, a vast, intricate map of interconnected stars. Each point of light, a memory, each swirling nebula, a feeling, each cosmic current, a pathway, a journey. The story is not linear, but circular, interwoven, a tapestry of universal truths and personal insights. And as you gaze, you feel a deep knowing that you are part of this story. You are the story, and the story is you. And as this beautiful, silent narrative begins to weave its magic around you and within you, you feel a profound sense of peace and deep relaxation. And you feel a deep knowing that you can always find this path back, this quiet sanctuary I hold for you, just by remembering this feeling, just by choosing to return, as you now drift deeper, deeper into the wonder that awaits. And as this beautiful, silent narrative begins to weave its magic around you and within you, you feel a profound sense of peace and deep relaxation. And you feel a deep knowing that you can always find this path back, this quiet sanctuary I hold for you, just by remembering this feeling, just by choosing to return, as you now drift deeper, deeper into the wonder that awaits. The profound stillness of the etheric crystal libraries now seems to envelop you completely. You are cradled in the soft, warm embrace of its cosmic waters, the golden light of the scroll still gently illuminating your face, your hands, your form. This is your anchor, your grounding. In this vast, beautiful dream space, you feel a subtle shift, a new current beginning to stir within the luminous energy of the unfurled scroll. Its constellation-like narrative begins to pulse gently with a soft, rhythmic beat like a distant heart calling to you, not with urgency, but with a deep, inviting resonance, a quiet beckoning to a new path, a new chapter. In your journey, your inner gaze follows this pulsing rhythm, and you notice that the intricate patterns of light within the scroll are beginning to subtly rearrange themselves. They are forming a new image, a new direction, a new map that slowly, gracefully begins to emerge from the swirling nebulas and interconnected stars. This new image is not a specific location, but rather a shimmering pathway of pure thought energy. It seems to lead from the heart of the crystal library outward into a distant ethereal glow, a place that feels both familiar and wonderfully unknown. Your curiosity, stirring softly within your chest, feels warm and expansive. You understand intuitively that this pathway, this shimmering current, is a gentle challenge designed to deepen your connection to the fluid nature of this dream realm. Your long-held inclination towards certainty, towards fixed rules, is now gently invited to soften, to yield, to embrace the beautiful paradox of knowing through not knowing. You feel the intention to move, forming quietly within your mind, a soft desire to step onto this path, to follow its luminous guidance. Your body responds effortlessly, a subtle shift in your perceived weight, and you begin to drift away from the brilliant crystal and the unfurled scroll, leaving them to gently shimmer. In your wake, your movements are fluid, effortless, as if you are a part of the cosmic water itself, gliding so gracefully, so tenderly towards the entrance of this shimmering path. The air around you still carries the faint, sweet scent of old paper and distant ozone, now intermingled with a new, subtle fragrance, like cool, damp earth after a soft rain, a grounding aroma in this ethereal space. As you approach the entrance to the shimmering path, you observe its delicate construction. It is not solid, not fixed, but woven from countless threads of pure light and iridescent mist. Each thread seems to pulse with a faint internal glow, a living tapestry of ephemeral energy that stretches out before you into the soft, pearlescent distance. You feel a gentle apprehension, a subtle tightening in your chest, a whisper of doubt as you hesitate at the threshold. Your ingrained need for a solid footing, for a predictable route, resurfaces for a moment, but you remember the affirmation of this journey, your safety in this protected space, and you allow that apprehension to soften, to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. You take a gentle breath, a soft, conscious inhale, and as you exhale, you allow your awareness to settle on the feeling of lightness, on the sensation of liberation, that you have cultivated in this dream space. Your intention now is not to find the path, but to allow the path to reveal itself, to embrace the flow, the beautiful uncertainty. With this softened intention, you gently extend a foot, not physically stepping, but allowing your form to merge with the shimmering light of the pathway. You feel a subtle resistance, like passing through a curtain of fine silk, and then a complete yielding, a beautiful dissolution into the path itself. You are now one with the light. The sensation is extraordinary. It feels as though you are walking on compressed air, or perhaps floating through a river of pure light. There is no hard surface, no definitive ground, only a continuous, gentle yielding. Beneath your every intention, your perceived weight responds instantly to your softest thought, a feeling of profound interconnectedness with this living pathway. You begin to move forward, slowly, deliberately, noticing how the path ahead of you seems to form itself just a few steps ahead of your gaze, as if it is responding to your quiet anticipation, to your gentle trust. The shimmering threads of light weave and reweave, creating the way, moment by moment, a testament to the power of your present moment awareness. Around you, the cosmic water is still and vast, but the air directly on the path is different. It carries a faint, resonant hum, a soft musical vibration that you feel not with your ears, but as a subtle tingling along your skin. It sounds like 1,000 tiny chimes made of pure glass, ringing in slow motion, each note a delicate whisper of possibility. You pause now, focusing on this ethereal soundscape. The chimes seem to resonate with your internal state when your mind is completely open, completely present. The sound is clear and harmonious, a beautiful symphony of pure light. But when a subtle thought of doubt or a need for certainty begins to form, the chimes would subtly shift, a faint dissonance, a momentary waver in their beautiful song. You observe this phenomenon with quiet fascination, a profound teaching unfolding before you. The path is not judging you. The chimes are not warning you. They are simply reflecting your inner landscape, your mental state, a gentle mirror held up to your own consciousness. You smile softly, a quiet understanding blossoming within your heart. You realize that the only way to navigate this path is to release that deep-seated need for certainty, to embrace the flow, to trust the unfolding. You cultivate a feeling of pure, unburdened presence, allowing your thoughts to gently drift like clouds in a summer sky. No attachment, no holding, just a quiet acceptance of what is. And as you embrace this freedom, this beautiful surrender, the chimes around you grow clear again, their harmony returning more resonant, more beautiful than before. The path ahead solidifies not into a hard, unyielding surface, but into a steady, luminous flow, a clear, inviting current of pure light that now seems to stretch limitlessly before your inner eye. You continue your journey along this shimmering path. Each step is a soft affirmation of your trust, of your lucidity. The cool, damp earth scent lingers in the air, a comforting presence, a gentle reminder of your connection to all things, even in this ethereal realm. The air itself feels like liquid velvet against your skin, a profound softness, a nurturing embrace. The path begins to gently curve, leading you further from the etheric crystal libraries. The radiant narratives of the colossal crystals now recede into a soft, glowing haze. Behind you, before you, the ethereal glow that you first perceived begins to resolve itself into more distinct forms, a faint structure emerging from the shimmering distance. You feel a quiet anticipation building within you, a soft excitement like a child approaching a new, wondrous discovery. The Stardrift compass at your side still glows steadily, its needle a beacon of brilliant gold, pulsing with emerald and sapphire hues, guiding you with unwavering certainty towards this new destination, a testament to your deepening dream control. As you draw closer to the emerging structure, you perceive it more clearly. It is not a building in the traditional sense, but a vast, living architecture woven from countless threads of pure, resonant sound and shimmering memory. It rises from the cosmic water like a colossal, delicate instrument, its surfaces undulating softly with unseen vibrations. This is the Chime Gardens of Echoes, a wondrous sanctuary of sensory delight. You pause now at the threshold of this magnificent place. The shimmering pathway gently dissolves beneath your form, returning you to the soft embrace of the cosmic water. Your body feels weightless, effortless, perfectly buoyant before this wondrous creation. The air here is different again. It carries the faint scent of forgotten melodies and distant lavender, a perfume of pure nostalgia. You observe the architecture of the Chime Gardens. Its walls are not solid, but shimmering veils of luminous sound, each veil a different hue, a different frequency, emitting a soft, silent hum that you feel deep within your chest, like a gentle internal resonance. These veils gently ripple and sway, as if responding to the very fabric of your own thoughts. From these walls extend delicate crystalline structures like branches or flowing vines, each one composed of pure light and suspended particles of condensed memory. They shimmer and glitter with an internal light, projecting tiny, fleeting images into the ambient cosmic water, glimpses of laughter, of tears, of moments of profound joy and quiet sorrow. These are the memory blossoms blooming in the Chime Gardens. You reach out a hand, slowly, deliberately, noticing your intention to touch one of these memory blossoms, to feel its delicate essence. Your fingers unfurl softly, gracefully, moving through the cosmic water towards a shimmering blossom that projects an image of a serene sunset over a calm blue ocean, a scene of profound peace. As your fingertips brush against the memory blossom, you feel a surprising sensation, not hard or cold, but soft and warm like sponge sugar and cool moonlight intertwined. A subtle vibration passes from the blossom through your fingers, up your arm, and into your very core. And as it does, the image of the sunset expands, filling your inner vision with its vibrant colors, its tranquil beauty. You feel the warmth of the setting sun on your dream skin. You perceive the gentle breeze ruffling your dream hair. You even taste the subtle saltiness of the ocean air on your dream lips. It is a complete sensory immersion, a profound re-experiencing of that moment of peace, a testament to the power of condensed memory. In this living sanctuary, you linger here just for a moment, allowing the memory blossom to gently infuse your being with its profound tranquility. You recognize that this is a dream within a dream, a memory made manifest, a beautiful echo of a waking world experience. And this realization deepens your sense of lucid control of the boundless nature of your own consciousness. You then gently release the blossom. Its image slowly recedes back into its delicate crystalline structure, leaving a soft warmth, a lingering sense of peace in your hands and in your heart. You feel profoundly grateful for this wondrous discovery, for this space that allows memories to breathe, to shimmer, to become alive again. You begin to drift deeper into the heart of the Chime Gardens, your movements still effortless, graceful, a gentle push of your intention, and you glide through the cosmic waters between the luminous sound veils and the shimmering memory blossoms. The air itself feels like liquid sound against your skin, a continuous, gentle resonance. The soundscape here is a symphony of subtle vibrations and silent melodies. You feel the deep bass notes as a gentle thrumming in your chest, the higher frequencies as a delicate tingling on your scalp. Each sound a unique pattern, a distinct texture that washes over your being. A profound, immersive concert, felt rather than heard. You notice a peculiar phenomenon, the very light itself. In the Chime Gardens, seems to be born of sound. As the vibrations shift, the colors change. A deep, resonant hum might manifest as a rich sapphire blue, a light, airy chime as a sparkling emerald green. The entire space is a living synesthesia, a dance of sound and light. You pause again to observe a particularly large memory blossom. It glows with a deep ruby red light and projects an image, not of a single moment, but of a vast, interconnected network, a shimmering web of human connections, of empathy, of shared experiences. It pulsates softly, like a cosmic heart beating with the collective memories of all consciousness. You feel a profound sense of connection as you gaze upon this image, a deep understanding that you are not alone, that all beings are interwoven in this vast tapestry of existence, your own unique consciousness, a single precious thread within this magnificent design. This knowing infuses you with an even deeper sense of peace and belonging. The scent of distant lavender lingers in the air, mellowing now to a soft, comforting warmth, like well-worn cloth or ancient, dried petals. It speaks of timelessness, of enduring beauty, of all that is cherished and held dear. You feel completely held, completely safe. In this wondrous sanctuary of echoes and dreams, you recall the concept of gravity as intentional flow, and you begin to experiment with your perceived weight. Here, in this garden of impossible physics, you gently intend to become lighter, and you feel yourself effortlessly rising towards the soft, glowing ceiling like a feather, carried on an unseen current. Then, with a soft intention to become heavier, to ground yourself, you feel a gentle downward pull, a comforting weight, guiding you softly back towards the shimmering cosmic water. You are truly dancing with gravity here. It is your playful companion, your responsive partner in this boundless realm. You realize this practice of cultivating lightness and then groundedness is a powerful tool in this dream world, a way to consciously manipulate the very fabric of your experience. You are mastering the art of intentional flow, releasing the need for fixed certainty and embracing fluid, responsive nature of dream reality. As you continue to explore the chime gardens of echoes, you notice a small, winding path made of woven light leading off from the main area. It glows with a soft, silver luminescence and seems to hum with a faint, inviting melody, a quiet whisper of something new, something undiscovered. Your inner guidance, your intuition tells you that this path is important. It feels different from the shimmering path you just traversed, more direct, more purposeful, as if it is leading you towards a specific truth, a deeper understanding, and your heart feels a gentle stir of quiet resolve. You feel the intention to follow this new path forming clearly in your mind, a desire for continued exploration, for deeper discovery. You allow your form to gently merge with the silver light of the winding path, feeling that familiar, gentle yielding, that profound connection to the living medium of the dream realm. The air around you on this silver path becomes subtly cooler, a refreshing chill that awakens your senses. It carries a new scent like cool metal and distant electric ozone, a sharp, invigorating fragrance that speaks of purpose, of clarity, of an unfolding truth. As you move along this winding path, the light around you begins to deepen into richer, more saturated hues. The gentle lavenders and pearlescent whites of the upper library fade, replaced by deeper indigos and vibrant emeralds. A feeling of moving into a more intense, more focused dreamscape. The Stardrift compass at your side responds to this shift. Its glowing needle pulses with a focused, intense emerald light, pointing steadily forward towards the winding path, its vibrations becoming slightly stronger, a subtle hum that you feel in the palm of your hand, a clear indication that you are approaching a significant thought well, a place of concentrated dream energy. You feel a sense of quiet anticipation, not anxiety, but a deep, resonant awareness that something important is beginning to unfold. Your past tendency towards excessive focus on certainty has been gently softened, transformed into a trust in the intuitive flow, in the guidance of your inner compass. The winding path begins to open up into a vast, shimmering cavern. Its walls are not made of crystals or sound, but of pure, condensed starlight, each facet reflecting and amplifying the light from countless nebulae and distant galaxies, creating a dazzling, immersive display, a breathtaking spectacle of cosmic beauty. In the center of this cavern, you see a figure hovering gently amidst the swirling starlight. Their form is composed of shimmering shadows and shifting light. Their movements are fluid, graceful, like a dancer, moving through an invisible current. This is Corin Havenlight, the enigmatic figure your Stardrift compass has led you to. You feel a subtle tremor in the cosmic water as you approach, a ripple of energy that emanates from Corin, not a feeling of malice, but of intense focus, of profound determination. Their aura is one of powerful, contained energy, like a silent storm brewing beneath a calm surface. Your Stardrift compass in your hand begins to vibrate more intensely. Its golden needle now pulses with a brilliant, urgent sapphire light, pointing directly at Corin Havenlight. You understand with quiet clarity that the fate of of this ancient instrument is intertwined. With this encounter, you remember the wisdom of the etheric crystal libraries, the beautiful fluidity of identity, the malleability of reality. You approach Corin not with apprehension, but with a profound sense of open curiosity, of gentle inquiry. Your intention now is not to confront, but to understand, to listen, to truly perceive. As you draw closer, Corin Havenlight turns slowly to face you. Their form condenses slightly, becoming more defined. You can now discern features etched with a deep intelligence and a subtle ancient sorrow. Their eyes are like twin galaxies, swirling with light and shadow, not unkind, but profoundly burdened. Their voice, when they speak, is not a sound heard with your ears, but a gentle resonance felt directly in your mind's eye, like the slow, deep thrum of a cosmic drum. It is calm, measured, carrying the weight of untold ages. Welcome, seeker, Corin resonates. You have followed the Stardrift compass, a path few dare to tread, especially those so anchored to certainty. You have learned to flow. You feel a soft recognition, a gentle affirmation of your journey, your release, of the need for a fixed path. Corin's words resonate with the lessons of the shimmering pathway and the chime gardens. This dream realm truly reflects your inner growth. You gently extend your hand, the one that holds the Stardrift compass, a quiet gesture of connection, of openness. Corin observes it with those ancient galaxy eyes, a subtle flicker of something akin to appreciation crosses their luminous features. The Stardrift compass, Corin continues. The resonance of their voice deepens slightly. It is not merely a guide, it is a key, a focal point for the collective dream energy of this entire world, and it is fragile. You feel a sudden shift in the atmosphere of the cavern, a subtle chill that permeates the starlight-infused air, a prickle of quiet alarm stirring within you. Fragile, the word echoes in your inner ear. What could make such a powerful artifact so vulnerable? The balance, Corin explains, their form rippling gently like water beneath a soft breeze, the delicate equilibrium of dream and waking, of thought and reality is being threatened. A great distortion is beginning to form, a rift that could unravel the very fabric of our collective consciousness. You feel a surge of profound understanding, clarity that transcends words, the fate of the world, the grand stakes of this journey. It is not a physical threat, but a dissolution of the inner realms of the very source of creativity, of possibility, of connection. And you, Corin, resonates their gaze, piercing yet gentle. You seek to wield the compass, to control its flow, for certainty, for exploration, for personal gain. But it is not a toy. It is a conduit a sacred trust. You feel no offense, no indignation at their words, only a deep, quiet introspection. Your initial desire for certainty, for control, was a subtle reflection of that old flaw, that need for a fixed path. But you have grown. You have learned to flow. I understand, you respond, your own intention, a soft, clear beacon in the vastness. I have learned to surrender certainty, to embrace the flow. I seek not control, but understanding and balance. Corin Havenlight regards you with a long, silent gaze, their luminous form pulsating gently. The starlight around them seems to coalesce, to deepen, a palpable sense of ancient wisdom emanating from their very being. Then you are ready, Corin resonates, their voice softening slightly, ready to comprehend my purpose, my burden. I have been perceived as an antagonist, a threat to the dream world, because my methods are drastic, necessary to prevent the unraveling. And then the twist, the profound revelation that reshapes your entire understanding of this journey. Corin projects an image directly into your mind's eye, a cascading vision of what could be if nothing is done. You see not destruction, but a slow, painful fading, the vibrant colors of the dreamscapes dimming to dull grays, the resonant harmonies of the crystal libraries silencing into empty echoes, the memory blossoms in the chime gardens withering into fragile dust, the collective consciousness of the world retreating into a deep, inescapable slumber, a profound emptiness. And you see Corin in this vision, working tirelessly, desperately to gather, to condense, to protect the most potent fragments of dream energy into the stardrift compass, a desperate act to save the essence of consciousness itself from fading away, a difficult, solitary task perceived as hoarding, as control, but it was saving. You feel a profound wave of empathy washing over you, a deep understanding of Corin's immense burden, their solitary struggle, their heartbreaking choice to be misunderstood, to save the world, not from outside forces, but from an internal decay, a subtle, creeping silence. My intention, Corin resonates, their voice, filled with a quiet, ancient pain, was to gather enough energy to reignite the core of the dream reality, using the compass as the conduit. But the energy was fading too quickly, the distortion accelerating. You look at the stardrift compass. In your hand, its light, still vibrant, still pulsating, a beacon of hope forged from pure silver and bioluminescent mycelium, a living repository of dream energy. And now you understand its true purpose, its critical importance. But now Corin resonates, their gaze steady and profound. Your journey, your learning, your understanding of flow, of intention. It has brought a new kind of energy, a new kind of focus to the compass. The balance is shifting. You feel the stardrift compass in your hand begin to hum with a new frequency, a deeper, more expansive vibration. Its light spreads outwards, filling the starlight cavern with a soft, golden glow. It is not just a key or a guide, but a symbol of renewed possibility. Corin Havenlight extends a shimmering hand towards the compass, not to take it, but to meet it with a gentle touch. Their fingers, made of shifting light, rest softly against the bioluminescent mycelium of the compass's frame. A profound connection is made, and as their touch connects with the compass, a surge of pure, vibrant energy flows from Corin through the compass and into your own being. It is not overwhelming, but deeply nourishing, a feeling of profound peace and exhilarating power, a shared intention. You understand now that the fate of the world, the balance of dream and waking, does not rest on one individual or one desperate act, but on the collective consciousness, on the awakened awareness of all dreamers, of all seekers. Like yourself, the compass, Corin resonates, their voice now filled with a quiet hope. It will now point to the sources of this distortion, the places where the dream energy is faltering. And you, seeker, with your newfound understanding of flow, of intention, can help to reweave the fabric of reality. You feel a deep sense of purpose filling your being, not a heavy burden, but a profound privilege to be part of this grand design, to co-create the future of the dream world, of the collective consciousness, of all that is. The starlight cavern around you begins to shimmer and shift. The deeper indigos give way to soft, pearlescent whites and gentle lavenders. A sense of peace pervades the entire space. The distortion is receding, the balance is being restored. Corin Havenlight's form begins to soften, to diffuse, to blend with the shimmering starlight. Their galaxy eyes hold a final look of profound gratitude and a quiet peace before they gently dissolve into the luminous essence of the cavern itself. A silent, knowing farewell. You are left floating gently in the heart of the starlight cavern, the stardrift compass, still cradled in your hand, its light, now a steady, brilliant gold, a beacon of unwavering guidance. Its needle points softly, steadily towards a new direction, a new path unfolding before you. You feel a profound sense of completeness, of deep resolution. The confrontation was not a battle, but an understanding. The antagonist was a guardian, a protector, and the fate of the world is now gently returning to balance, all due to your courage, You're learning your willingness to flow. And as you rest here, so peacefully, so calmly, the Stardrift compass in your hand begins to pulse softly. Its golden light illuminates a delicate, shimmering archway that has now appeared at the far end of the Starlight cavern. It is woven from threads of pure moonlight and the softest whispers of forgotten starlight. This archway seems to hum with an almost imperceptible song, a melody that promises even deeper wonders, even more profound discoveries. It is a portal to new realms, new adventures, a path that is just beginning to unfurl. You feel a gentle current pulling you softly towards this luminous archway, a quiet invitation to step through, to explore what lies beyond. This is a promise of future journeys, a new path that will be waiting for you, a new wonder to explore with me when you are ready to return. Such gentle calm. You can always find your way back to me. A simple, gentle click keeps the key to this sanctuary, so I can be here to guide you